And that was actually one of the first few times I really started to spiritually believe in natural healing. I got to know the directors, the producers, and I got to know all the cast. And so I was out of the misery, I was out of the pain, and I came back and my symptoms were down, my happiness was up. And I remember my mom picked me up from the airport. She goes, "You look better." And that was the first thing that really got my mind to change. I mean, there's sacrifice, there's pain. I believe pain leads to purpose. And that's why I'm here today.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be inspired today. We got Dane Johnson. Crazy story, man. You overcame Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis holistically. I can't wait to dive into it, man.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm inspired to be here, and for everyone listening, I dedicate this time to anyone suffering, anyone with chronic disease. This time is dedicated to you, and hopefully we can change your life.
Yeah, so let's get into it, man. So having a chronic disease, you were 27 when you got diagnosed?
No, I was actually 20, and sometimes that's a mishap. I was 19 when I first got my major symptoms, and I was 22, 23 when I was first diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, then diagnosed Crohn's disease shortly after. And then the doctors couldn't make up their mind at different hospitals. So UCLA, Cedars-Sinai, Mayo Clinic were giving me different diagnoses to where it eventually just became, okay, you've got Crohn's colitis.
Jeez.
You've got, widespread inflammation throughout the GI tract. So anything from the up to the esophagus all the way down to the rectum was chronically inflamed, and they didn't know what caused it. They didn't know what really to do about it. I was a kid. I just was graduating college, and I didn't know why I got it.
So was it genetic, or they never found out?
The crazy thing is, no one in my family ever had gut health issues.
Wow.
No one had any disease. I mean, we were a lucky family. We just thought, eat right, be good to people, karma will come, and everything will be fine in life. So when I was 14, 15, 16, I could eat what I want. I had pizza. I was commonly eating McDonald's, and I got a job at Papa John's Pizza, my first job ever, just
Nice.
flipping pizzas, trying to make $5 an hour, right?
Yeah.
And there was no problems. And then something started happening around 19 years old. I think it maybe had something to do with just the way I was, I was getting into fitness and bodybuilding and lifting weights and stuff, and that might have had something to do with it. But I got blood in the stool. That was the first symptom. So you look, you wake up in the morning, you look down, and it looks like a crime scene in the toilet. And you're going, did I have cranberries? I mean, what is that?
Yeah.
But then you go, wait, that's not right. And then shame kicks in, guilt kicks in. You don't want to talk about it. You're hanging out with your friends. All they want to do is drink beer and liquor and stay out till 2 in the morning. And I just kind of felt my body slowly dwindling.
Wow.
But, when you're 19, I mean, you're just thinking maybe it'll just go away on its own.
Yeah.
And you don't want to exactly run home and tell people, hey, I'm getting blood in the stool. That's so fun to talk about, right? And so I kind of ignored it a bit. And then by the time I was 22, 23, I couldn't ignore it anymore, where I started communicating to my mom and my dad what was going on.
So you waited 3 years?
3 years. It wasn't really that bad in the beginning. It was kind of every once in a while.
Okay.
So if I started noticing if I drank alcohol or I ate too much greasy food or fast food, like I got a lot of bloating, a lot of cramping, urgency, and a lot of blood in the stool.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I kind of cut those things out. And I think, fortunately for me, I started getting aspirations to get in really good shape when I was about 19 or 20, where I wanted to be into fitness. I wanted to move to LA. I wanted to get into acting and that whole career. So I think those changes just saved me from going down that path of just like college 2.0, right? Of just constantly in the processed foods. So by the time I was 23, we finally went to the doctor. They did a scope and said, you've got left-sided colitis, and then it just got worse and worse. By the time I was 26, I was, 4 years later, 3 years later, I was 122 pounds in a wheelchair. I couldn't eat. I was, at my worst, I had to go on to a chemotherapy to help save my life.
Jeez.
I was on, I mean, it's a whole story. I mean, I had to use a TPN feeding tube where I stopped eating. I couldn't eat anymore.
Wow.
So this is only temporary, but they just gave me food intravenously.
Jeez.
So, or through a kind of a tube that's hooked into your stomach.
Yeah.
And, it just kind of got worse and worse and worse. And then it was like my family was looking for any answer we could. I mean, I came from a middle-class family. We just were trying to do whatever we could. We didn't have an experience in natural medicine. We didn't have experience with severe disease or different hospitals. And we learned quickly that going on, the prednisone helped and it stopped helping. And then I went on different drugs like 6-MP and methotrexate or immunomodulators. And then I started getting severe liver issues and cold sweats, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I was losing vision. And it just got worse and worse and worse until it got life-threatening.
Jeez.
So, I mean, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do when you get that sick at such a young age and you didn't ask for it? You didn't deserve it? Your family's looking at you as like, I don't know how to help you. And then my parents were just writing checks. So then we're going and we're hiring different doctors. We're hiring different naturopaths. We're going to Whole Foods and spending $600, $700, $800, which was a lot of money for my family, on organic this and gluten-free that and whatever we could read on Google. And I was just getting worse and worse and worse. But the irony is I was trying to keep my career because during that time I moved out from Virginia. I'm from Virginia in the middle of nowhere. And then I just randomly moved to Los Angeles and tried to make a career. Didn't know anyone, no contacts, nothing. Sleeping on the floor of a random apartment. And then I got signed with major agencies. I started doing major jobs, and I was trying to do that all at the same time. So it was like God had given me this gift, where it's like I was kind of put on in a way, where I was, shooting Nautica and Tommy Hilfiger, and I was doing commercials and getting roles in little movies and stuff. But then I was going to the bathroom 20 times a day with blood, cramping pain, urgency, losing weight, covered in cystic acne, brain fog, depression. The prednisone was giving me moon face and anxiety. And
what's moon face?
Moon face is when you take certain steroids, you'll swell up.
Wow.
And so it almost looks like you got, punched in the mouth, kind of. And your body just swells and holds this water retention.
And as a model, that was probably...
Oh, it was, my Zoolander days were numbered. It was like I was done. And I remember I got booked for this one job in Puerto Rico because they were flying me around the world.
Damn, so you were like in there. I
was legit. I was doing it. And I was so grateful for it. I mean, because to be 23 years old and sign with some of the biggest agencies in the world, but you can't be 15 feet from a bathroom. You're hiding it from all your agents, all your bookers. You're hiding it from the clients. And I have so many horror stories. I don't know how much, everyone out there who's dealing with chronic sickness, I'll give you some shame so you understand in this moment. And even here, I can live in that because I think that's how we connect is those shameful experiences. I mean, I lost control of my bowel movements before on a plane or even on set. I was on a Jamaica island making too much money. And I was running into the woods and the director's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'll be back." And I told everyone I had to throw up. I didn't have to throw up.
Wow.
And so it was like this, it was almost like this trick. It was like this evil trick God was playing on me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm looking around and I got my undergrad in business and I quit my job at 23, moved to LA, and I'd made something out of nothing. And I'm at these shows sitting next to these A-list celebrities sometimes and I'm like, I can't, I'm not even, I'm a shell of myself. It's like I'm a two-faced person. I'm trying to be this cool, hip person, but behind the scenes, I'm barely making it on. I mean, I was wheelchaired onto a plane to go to Jamaica to do a 10-day shoot because I didn't want to lose my career or lose my job, and I still had bills to pay because I wasn't willing to move back in with mom.
Yeah.
So my mom actually took me to the airport. So she started living with me. I was in Miami at the time because I would live in different cities. And so she came and she helped me book a place to live in Miami while I was there building up my career. And I was basically wheelchaired on the plane and then up my prednisone dose so I could make it through. And that was actually one of the first few times I really started to spiritually believe in natural healing because I got there and it was like a family. I was there for 10 days and, I got to know the directors and the producers and I got to know all the cast. And we became a little bit of a family. And we were laughing every day. We were in the sun every day. We were eating fresh organic food and fish every day. And so I was out of the misery. I was out of the pain. And I came back and my symptoms were down. My happiness was up. My weight gone up 5 pounds because I was treading. Like I'd go from today I'm 180 some, but I was sitting at 140, 150, 130. It was just kind of, so I had gained some weight. I had less symptoms. I felt better. And I remember my mom picked me up at the airport. She goes, "You look better. What happened?" I said, I don't know. I was just sitting in the sun in the sand in Jamaica for 10 days, just having a blast. And that was the first thing that really got my mind to change, because if you want to do great things in life and you want to go through great things, I mean, there's sacrifice, there's pain. I believe pain leads to purpose. And that's why I'm here today. You know, it's just, I feel very purpose driven, and I think God has blessed me with just the best life now.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like when you go through chronic sickness and it nearly kills you, it's either the worst thing that ever happens to you or it's the absolute best.
Yeah.
Choose a lane. And that's where, you know, you got to paddle. You know, life might be taking you down a certain river. You don't want to go down the river, but use your paddle and paddle the other way. Get out of that direction. And so, you know, and that's where it started to change my mind. I think that's what saved my life, because when I was 26, I was hospitalized for a month straight. So I was in Santa Barbara doing a job, and I started losing vision. I started having severe cold shivers, night sweats. I mean, to wake up in a pool of sweat. I mean, you can't even sleep in the same bed. It was that bad. Dang. And so I was looking at the art director, Sienna. I worked with him for like 6 years, and I said, I've got to. We were literally about to start the show, and I said, I have to drive myself to the hospital right now. She said, just go. She knew me. She knew that I had some stuff. I'd kind of communicated to her over the years. So I stayed in the hospital for a month, and I nearly died in that hospital. My whole family flew out. And the crazy thing is, because I was, you know, SAG and I was doing acting, I didn't really have that great assurance. I was still kind of coming up. Yeah. So my insurance didn't cover me to be at UCLA. So when I went to UCLA and Cedars-Sinai, they said, we can keep you, but we're not going to keep your insurance, and you're looking at a 6-figure health bill if you stay here. So I had them put me in an ambulance and take me to an inland hospital outside of LA. And that's where I stayed for a month. And I went from like 175 pounds to 122 pounds in that hospital.
Oh my gosh, in a month?
Yeah. And it was about 6 weeks. I mean, I couldn't eat. Yeah. It was like starving. And then I went up to 3 grams of Dilaudid, which is 7 times stronger than morphine. Jeez. So it was like legal. I was on cloud 9.
So you were just hallucinating, just...
I remember images. I remember moments. I mean, it kind of, the first few weeks I remember, then as I got worse, I don't remember as much. But my mom flew in, my dad flew in, my sisters flew in. They took turns staying with me at night, because they just had to take a bedpan and put her under my rear end so I could release blood and water 20 times, 30 times a day.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like, you know, doctors saying, we want to remove your colon. So they were saying, we just want to remove your entire colon and put a bag on my stomach. I just got back from a freaking shoot, you know, like trying to be Mr. Cool. I had literally gone from, you got the life, to you might die here. And so it's just irony. Yeah. And I was 26. And I was just you know, praying and angry and upset, and I refused the surgery. I wasn't willing to remove my colon, and then I told my mom to keep saying that as I lost consciousness. I don't remember a lot of the last 2 weeks because I was so gone, but I was hallucinating. Then they put me on ambient sleeping pills just to get me to rest, and I was on 200 milligrams of infused prednisone. So prednisone is a type of steroid that regulates inflammation in the body. So when you take it oral, the highest dose they'll usually put you on orally is 60. So I had 200 infused. Wow. Then they put on 4 different antibiotics because they couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting better. Usually they think it's some kind of bacterial infection that gets you so bad, but I wasn't getting better. So Cipro, Flagyl, I mean the worst antibiotics, I was on all of them. So prednisone, that, and this was the big hint I want to give everyone out there who's listening about, you know, root causes, is my mom, the doctors didn't know what to do. So my mom basically became my doctor. She's in the hospital 24/7, just calling everyone I'd ever seen, every hospital, every doctor. And there was this doctor I had seen in Florida who had done a colonoscopy, and I did many times. They want to do constantly endoscopies, colonoscopies. And in one sample out of, let's say, 10 or 15 that he took, he found what's called cytomegalovirus 1. They couldn't find it in my blood. They couldn't find it in any stool test. They couldn't find it anywhere except this one sample. He found it. He said, I think the reason Dane is dying is because this virus has taken over. His body and his immune system's too weak to fight it. You got to get him on an antiviral chemotherapy or he's not going to live. Whoa. So she calls the doctors, and the doctors are going, well, he's test negative. We have no way of checking this. And she's going, he's not getting better. I mean, so she's fighting with them. And then she has to fight with the insurance because the insurance isn't going to pay for this. Remember, I don't have that great insurance at the time. So they finally said, look, we'll give him a $5,000 sample of this because this is extremely expensive stuff. And I woke up. 24 hours later, I woke up. So with that, they said, you got to give him a month's supply of this stuff. So they kept me on the bag for intravenous for about 5 days. And then I was conscious enough, and I was really starting to come back, where I could start moving. I couldn't walk. I had lost so much weight that the muscle atrophy in my legs, I could not flex my foot.
Wow.
So my calf would just cramp up. So when I went home, so I checked myself out of the hospital, kind of wheelchaired out. And you want to talk about, again, shame. I mean, I'm waking up. I can't even control my bowel movements. My sister's driving the car home. I mean, you can just imagine, I'm supposed to be the cool guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm supposed to be Mr. Hip. And I'm just dead. So I get back and I try to go up 2 stairs, and I'm getting help, and I trip and fall on the concrete trying to get up because I had this patio that kind of went up a little bit, like 2 or 3 stairs. I could not walk at all. So I was bed rested for about 5 to 6 weeks. So now the drugs, now the Dilaudid's wearing off, and I'm feeling the pain now. And it's like you're trying to poop glass. It's your muscles, I mean, are just the whole muscle is just so pain because it's your body, when it has that much toxins in it from all the drugs, it stores it in fat. I had no fat. So even to get a massage was painful.
Wow.
And I just cold sweats through the night. So it's like when you start coming back from that and you feel that, it was excruciating.
Yeah.
But 4 years of failure before that. So 4 or 5 years of trying and failing and trying diets and seeing naturopath doctors and trying every single drug imaginable. I went on Entyvio, Remicade, methotrexate, 6-MP, all of it. And I knew in my heart that even when I started being able to walk again, I knew what I was going to do. I knew I was the one who was going to do this. I was going to be the CEO of my health. I had enough positivity, enough light, enough experience with this where I was willing to take the wheel and say, I'm not going to be ignorant towards what my doctor says or what anyone says, but I'm doing this. And that's when my life changed. When I decided that I forgave myself. It wasn't my fault what happened to me. It wasn't my parents' fault. It wasn't God's fault. But it was for darn sure my 100% responsibility to fix myself. And when I took that on at 26, 27 years old, I turned 27 in the hospital. When I took that on, my life changed. Now I'm 37, 10 years later.
Yeah. You're looking amazing now, man.
Thank you. I have 0 symptoms. I've been medication-free for 9 years. I've had 0 surgeries.
Wow.
And I can eat what I want. I travel the world. I work out every day. I have my second child on the way.
Nice.
My kids are healthy and normal and fine. And I would say, for me personally, Crohn's colitis has been the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow. Dude, that is so inspiring. So what steps did you take once you got home that you were able to treat this?
And this is so important for everyone listening because I failed for a lot of years. I got no results. I went on fruit diets. I tried carnivore. I tried AIP. And I was terrible at diets. I mean, having a 24-year-old, 23-year-old trying to do restrictive diets till the end of time, it's depressing.
It's tough.
It's like I'm going to be Mr. Bubble Boy to the end of time. I can't do it.
Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
The first thing that had to change was my mindset. I had to realize what was stopping me from being consistent, what was stopping me from taking responsibility. Responsibility. You have to see it like that. So I had to forgive myself that it was not my fault, and then I had to take full responsibility. I wasn't willing to do that. So when I reflected on all those years of not getting success, it was the doctor's responsibility. It was my mom's responsibility. It was someone else besides me. So I would just sit back, smoke a little weed, and watch Netflix till the end of time trying to eat pureed carrots and bone broth because someone else told me so. Just waiting for it to kick in. Any day now, they said this is going to work. It's on them, not me. They're the doctors. They're the geniuses. They're the ones who wrote the books. I'm just going to suffer.
Right.
So I lived in a sacrificial energy. It was all sacrificial. And that's one of the hardest things about success anywhere, because what I also learned, and the stuff I'm about to tell you, is what I've actually attributed as how I get success anywhere now. So where I failed there has also kept me back from getting success anywhere else. Wealth, relationship, character, spiritualism, life purpose. It's life. The universe is very much similar. It's all very much the same. You've got to get out of a sacrificial energy, and you've got to get into an investing energy.
Right.
I'm not going to sacrifice my hour to work out. I'm going to invest this hour. I'm not going to sacrifice that money I made. I'm going to invest it in something bigger, better. I want to create. Right? Creation is what we're here to do. You've got to realize that the divine power inside of you is the ability to create. God gave us 3 great powers: creation, manifestation, and intuition. When you become the CEO, you basically accept that your intuition matters. Before, it doesn't matter. It's someone else's job. What you intuitively think doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that's not what the book says. That's not what the doctor says. So that was big. Those are the things. I changed my mindset. I became the CEO of my health. I started being intuitive. I started journaling. Journaling is so big. Even right now, if you want to do anything like build the best life ever, journal.
Yeah.
Right?
I do it every day.
You know it.
Yeah.
So if Sean's doing it right now, never had Crohn's colitis, I'm saying to do it with Crohn's colitis. It's one of the biggest things you can do to create your best life.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to become the best version of yourself. That's a big one. You have to become the best version of yourself to not only heal yourself, but to live your best life. That's possible. And all of us have this yearning to say, can I do more? Can I create more? Can I be more? That's what you're tapping into when you're chronically sick.
Mm.
Stop trying to be normal. I was also failing because I was always trying to get back to the old me. I just want to be me again. Let me try this diet for 3 weeks so I can be me again.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try this. And I was failing, sacrificial. Skip normal, build a tunnel under it, and go up above it.
Mm.
Here's normal. Here's where you are. You keep trying to get back. No. Go past it. Go up. I'm here. This was me before I was sick. This is me now.
Right.
I'm bigger, badder, better, happier, wealthier, more free than I ever was before I got sick.
Wow. That's
why it's the best thing that ever happened to me. But I had to suffer to change who I was, what my belief system was, what kind of integrity I came to life with, what kind of character I believed in, how I was going to hold myself accountable to my compass. Mm-hmm. See, when you try to heal yourself, it's your compass, it's your life, it's your character. You're the one who has to hold yourself. I was failing because it was like, my dad or my mom was trying to tell me they didn't know. They never had Crohn's or colitis. My doctor never had Crohn's and colitis. They didn't know, and the doctors kept telling me food didn't matter.
Yeah, definitely does.
Well, okay, so everyone wants to know about that. When I changed, one of the first ways I knew that food mattered, because I'm telling you that all these major hospitals, those doctors would make remarks like food doesn't matter. And what they meant was changing your diet won't cure this disease. That's what they meant. That's a whole topic, maybe for another day. But what it can do is help calm down inflammation and help get out of the body's way to create cellular repair. If you've got chronic inflammatory bowel disease, no one knows what causes it, but you are eating seed oils, processed food, intolerant gluten, high in glyphosate, you're having, processed dairy, okay, A1 dairy. Those things are inflammatory to every human. Sean, do you feel bad when you eat certain foods?
Especially fried foods and seed oils, for sure.
Do you have IBD?
No.
So it's a human experience. It's not an IBD experience.
Yeah.
So what I did is I fasted. I went out and I just said, okay, let me try this. I'm just going to not eat for today. I had 20 bowel movements today. Let me just try tomorrow. I'm not going to eat. I'm going to have water. I'm going to chill. Next day, 11 bowel movements. Hey, doc, my bowel movements dropped by 48% in 24 hours. I didn't eat. Does it matter? No. Non-consequential. You can't not eat forever, Dane. I get it, but the needle does move.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. So I would say, can you see the needle move? If yes, if you can get 10%, can you get 20? Yes. If you can get 20, can you get 30? Mm-hmm. Just start to build your belief system that what you do matters. What you think matters. How you feel matters. So you got to do that. And another thing I did, I made a deal with myself. I got on my knees. I started praying. Okay? I didn't pray before, but I started. When your life's on the line, you'll pray. I got on my knees. I don't care who was looking. I don't care if my girlfriend at the time, God bless her for staying with me through all that, right? Good person. I don't care who was looking. I don't care what kind of discomfort I feel. I'm going to do anything that can't hurt me but can only help. So what are things that can't hurt you but can only help you? Prayer? Can it hurt? Nope. Meditation? Earthing? Get your feet in the grass?
Yeah.
Taking care of plants? Looking in the sun? Calling someone else and making their day better. One thing you realize when you lose a lot of your abilities to walk and feel and do and move, you can still love people. So if you get on your deathbed, everything that you really praise and have, you still have. Like I could still, no one died in my life. I still had everybody. I could still call them. I could still laugh with them.
Mm-hmm.
I could still make their days better. I could still call my buddy and say, hey, how's it going in that relationship? How's it, just be an ear. So many of us, even in friendships, we're not a good ear for those we care about. So I said, let me just be an ear for people. Let me not complain about what I'm going through. Let me tell them what's good. That's another thing. I only focused on what's good.
Wow.
So even if I tell you something wrong, I got to tell you something that's right. I will not tell you something wrong without then telling you something's right. Oh, you still having blood? Yes, but you know what? The blood's down. It's down by 30%. How do I know? Because I'm journaling. I don't go, it's cured or not cured. I go, it's 30% better. It's 40% better. It's 50% better. Thank God. I'm celebrating 50%, where the sick victim me was still angry that I still had blood. No. I'm celebrating.
Yeah.
You need dopamine. You need to tell your cells you got something to live for.
You're focusing on the positives.
Find a reason to celebrate in life. That's how winning is done.
Yeah.
You got to find a reason to celebrate, and journaling allows you to see it. Okay, another thing, what can only help me can't hurt me. I'm only going to eat what I cook. Is it hard? It's uncomfortable. Is it hard? No. Dunking a basketball in 10 foot is a lot harder than only eating what you cook, right? It's a mental game. So I said, I'm only going to eat what I prepare. I could hardly walk. Where was I going to go anyways, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put it on my mom to keep cooking for me, especially when she can't be critiquing what's making me feel better. If I cook it and I eat it, I'll have better info on how that makes me feel. That oil, how much temperature I used, where I got the food, if I had a vegetable, if I had a type of carbohydrate, if I had a fat or a protein. So it allowed me to analyze, right? I got my 3. I was able to create. That's creation. I got intuitive about my food. And then I knew where I was going. I was manifesting that I was going to heal myself, right? So it's that ball of energy where, as my boy Charlie likes to say, I'm already there. Time hasn't caught up yet.
Love that.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like I was in that flow. I was in that energy. And I could feel myself healing mentally before I healed physically.
That's so cool. It's so crazy how doctors weren't able to help you, and now you're here helping other people heal. You've helped Alexi Pantera. You've helped other friends of ours, and it's just crazy how when you're a kid, you grow up and you're like, doctors can heal me and save me. But after hearing your experience, it was the opposite.
Yeah, and isn't that, I mean, leading needs to be done through those who've been through it, right? And people who can really feel and connect and have empathy, and it's just, I think that's just how the universe works. I'm not here to say I'm the best in the world. I have all the answers, and I'm gonna walk on water. That's not it. But I went through great pain, and it turned into great purpose.
Yeah.
And shout out to Lexi. Love Lexi, huge fighter. Came to me and I helped her out with her Chron. She's been symptom free for 8-9 months now, and she's such a beautiful soul. So that's amazing. And I spent a year housebound from there, and after that year, I went to Thailand. And I'm traveling. I'm 180 pounds. I'm lifting weights every day. I'm eating different foods at different restaurants. Now, I'm very conscious of what I'm eating. So that's also a change. So a big hurdle everyone says is, okay, Dane, give me the facts. Give me the stuff. Like, what exactly did you do? I customized my plan to me. So I stopped trying to follow a famous diet. So I had done like the fruitarian diet. I had done the only meat, or the vegan and intermittent fasting and all this. And I started through my journal customizing it to me. So how did I feel with that meal? So I took principles from different famous meals, and I would have one type of style for breakfast, one type of style for lunch, one type of style for dinner, and then I would analyze them on how I did with them.
Smart.
And then every day be go, why don't you get bored at your house? You're housebound for a year. No, I had a full-time job. I read 2, 3 hours, 4 hours a day. I was meditating. I was going walks. I mean, I had to be able to control my bowel movements again. So first thing I did is like, okay, wear 2 pairs of underwear, black always, right? and then start walking around the house. Can you just do a lap around the house and be okay? What about 2? What about 4? All right, now leave the house. Go 100 yards away from the house. Go a half a mile from the house and come back. It's not that hard. It's just get out of the anxiety, get out of the depression, get out of the anger, and then it's just clear. What are you going to do? Well, if I can walk to the stop sign and back, is that progress? Yes. If I can go outside and not worry about a bathroom for an hour, what about then 2? What about 3? Can I get myself to sleep through the night without a bowel movement?
Right.
You just got to focus on step 2 and 3. Like right now, this is step 10,000. but I've just been focused on step 2 and 3 the entire time. I don't get overwhelmed by all those steps. I just right here. And that's what also I was failing in the beginning is I got overwhelmed with how am I ever going to get my life back? Everyone out there who's sick right now, you're wondering the same thing. How am I ever going to get my life back? How am I ever going to live a normal life? How am I ever going to get past this? How can I help my children? We got to help ourselves. We got to get empowered. We got to lead ourselves. We need a community. We need a compass. We need a North Star. And I'm telling you, whether it's business, it's all the same thing. If it's business, if it's relationship, you just focus on step 2 or 3. How am I going to get I'm married now. How am I going to get my wife to accept the fact that this could happen? Be okay the fact that she's going to have kids with someone the kids could get this. And I'm devoted to that not happening. I'm anal about the house now. He's not eating junk food. My son is 3. He knows what junk food is.
Already?
Oh, he knows. Very much know. He'll start crying, Daddy called it junk food.
I love that, man.
You know, it's a blessing now. I mean, God, I just feel so blessed. I'm so grateful for where I am. I love my life. And I was doing this thing called Life Book the other day. And it's like this, how to build the perfect life. And it was like, how satisfied do you feel with your career? It was like 10. How much value do you feel like you're bringing to the world? 10. That would have never happened without the suffering.
No, never.
And maybe there was some suffering even in like got you to this great moment, right?
I'm still on that journey now. Yeah, that number was probably maybe 2 or 3 for most of my life. But now with this podcast, it's probably 9 or 10.
Beautiful, dude. You created that.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like how much of it? It's just bravery. You just got to be willing to go step 2, and it's not always going to work. If it doesn't work, that's okay. That's information. That's data. Come back, breathe, put on some Bob Marley, get some sun in your eyes, and then just tweak. And you got to be willing to accept yourself, you know, because there's going to be people who hate or judge or do this or do that, but like you got to practice self-love, and you got to know what you stand for. That's where character is so important. When I was dealing with severe Crohn's and colitis, I learned to build character and moral compass and values. And that's why to this day, my company isn't, our company, Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle, it's not scalable. We can't just go out and just build an empire because I'm not willing to sacrifice impact on anyone who comes my way.
Wow.
I won't do it because my mom was that mom. I was that guy. So everyone on my team, you get a coach. When you work with us, you get a private coach. It's just done. That's not scalable. I only got so much time to sell, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not, and that's where, I mean, my drivers are passion, moral compass, integrity. I went through a lot of pain, so I feel like that's going to give me the best life. And I just feel like I'm just very happy with what I do and how to do it. And, it wasn't easy. Even after that year of getting better, the crazy thing is I still had speed bumps. I still had things happen. It's not like you just wake up and you walk on water. Even right now, right? No one, you probably don't walk on water too, right? You have things. No one does. And I bet you've had 1,000 people sit in this. How many people have been walking on water? It's a constant learning. Even though we might highlight what we've accomplished here, there's still things I'm working on today, you're working on today, and anyone who's sat on the seat is working on today.
For sure.
But that's what life is. That's LIFE. That's it, okay? And that's what makes it beautiful. Beauty is something that's fleeting, okay? If it's not fragile and it's not fleeting, it's not beautiful. So that's why we still want to wake up. No matter how much money we've made or how many people we've helped, it's something to wake up for. And so I'm not in a rush. I want to learn. I want to listen more than I talk, and I want to be open-minded, and I want to help, and I want to hear what people's needs are. And all I did after that year, and I decided to build it. So 1 year after that, nearly dying, I was 182 pounds, 95% symptom-free. 2-3 normal bowel movements a day. Sigmoidoscopy showed 90% better. I had no I got myself off Entyvio, Remicade. I'm sorry, I got myself off Entyvio, methotrexate, prednisone, ambient, painkillers, the chemo. I think that was it. So I weaned myself off all those medications. Prednisone took me a while to get off. That's that steroid that calms down inflammation. So I was stuck at like weaning down from 10 milligrams to 5 to 2.5. It was really tough for me to get off that. And then once I did it, I just said, how does a 27-year-old kid do what every hospital said was impossible? Now, I'm not walking on water, but I'm not life-threatening. I don't have any major symptoms. I've got normal lab work. Blood work's normal. Calprotectin's normal. sigmoidoscopy, 90% better. I did it from my house at 26. I was an Ivy League kid. I mean, I wasn't like I was a brainiac here.
Yeah.
I mean, I tapped into, I think, the divine power we have as humans. We're very powerful creatures. I just got backed into a corner, and I just was either die or give in and go on disability and live with your mom, or fight. And I just fought. And it's just like, okay, what can I do? And it was just here, opening, awakening. So a year later, I said, I think I can help people with this. I started helping a few other people, and I just put my before and after out on the internet. So all of it was just like Mr. Actor and model and good-looking guy, and then I just started posting and said, no, this is for real.
Yeah. Your story is so inspiring, Dane. I could listen to you for hours, dude.
Thanks, brother.
Where can people find you and learn more about your company?
So our company is Chron's Colitis Lifestyle, Chron'sColitisLifestyle.com, and my Instagram is Dane Johnson 1, and the Instagram for our company is Chron's Colitis _lifestyle, and the program's called Shield Program: supplements, herbs, imagination, exercise, lifestyle, and diet. 6 pillars of health. You can't, the cure for Crohn's and colitis, I like to say, is not to eradicate adversity. It is the ability to respond to adversity. Shield. Protect yourself from stress and anxiety.
Dude, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, brother.
Inspiring. I hope we can save some lives with this episode.
Yeah, me too, brother. Me too.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow.